What never suffers is the herd.
Yeah.
You see it right there, and wearing those gloves, so the applause can be heard extremely loud. So we are underway in Alcorn State. The Braves, coached by Landon Bussey. You saw him just before we got started. They're 0-2 on the season. They lost at Utah just 2 nights ago. Double-dipped on this trip, 100-59, and first shot of the game is up by Wyatt Gaines, and it does not go. And here comes the familiar number 4, Ian Martinez. And he was a spark plug last year as he gets to the line.
Yeah, his ability to carve up defenses and be able to get into the paint has caused problems a lot last year, and I think that's going to continue this year.
Martinez out of Costa Rica and, of course, played at the University of Utah and then Maryland before transferring here. He is a graduate senior this year. But as we go through this game, we'll introduce you to a number of new players to this team because, once again, it's like last year, remember, they didn't return any start. Well, they had no points from the previous year.
Yeah.
That's not quite the same case this year as Mason Falslev out of nearby Skyview High School and Isaac Johnson are back. And, of course, Carson Templin, you'll see him later on. But there are a number of new faces.
Yeah, and this is a really young team, too. I mean, you're going to, as these players progress through the program, they have built up something that when we have a few seniors, they're going to be a well-rounded seasoned team.
Yeah, and Falslev is one of those, just a sophomore. So a couple of free throws to start things out. 2-0, Utah State, and here we go.
One thing I noticed right off the bat after talking with the players is the defensive schemes that Calhoun's come up with is much different than the way that Sprinkle used to coach, just hard-nosed man-to-man defense. Whereas here you see the Aggies come out into like a 1-3-1 type of matchup zone.
Is that a tough or an easier adjustment to make, going from, hard-nosed man to zone?
Yeah, I mean, zone isn't a defense where you can just take it easy. Sometimes it's more taxing to be in a zone just because it requires you to move more.
Okay.
But it probably depends on the coach and how he coaches the defense, too.
Oh, Ian Martinez with the big block. And at the other end, Mason Falslev for 3, and that doesn't go.
But that block from Ian Martinez is that sneaky athleticism that we talked about before the game started.
Falslev, a 56% field goal shooter last season, and counting on him once again to be a mainstay of this team. Averaged 11 points and 4 rebounds last year. Three-pointer on the way up and in as Marcus Tankersley cannot hit. And at the other end, foul drawn by Drake Allen. Now, Drake Allen may be familiar to locals here in Utah. He played at Southern Utah and then UVU down at Utah Valley and is a graduate of Westlake High School down in Utah County. So a transfer there, and he was good with UVU last year, 12.4 assist guy.
Yeah, he's a talented player, great pickup for Utah State. He's going to bring a lot of experience. He's a hard-nosed player, and he's quite athletic as well.
6'4", 190-pound, and another graduate student along with Martinez. So some of the youth you talked about, though, Falslev just a sophomore, Isaac Johnson the junior, and Carson Templin's only a sophomore. Sometimes you forget about him. Isaac Davis just a freshman. So
yeah, there's a lot
of youth to go along with a few veterans. Another guy to keep an eye on, number 21, Aubin Gadaretsi, young man out of Belgium, 7'1" for the Aggies. Keep an eye on number 21. Three-pointer up, and that one goes up and in for Wyatt Gaines. Jalik Wyatt Gaines out of New York. He had 7 points when they played the Utes 2 nights ago.
And that's when you have a team that bounces from Utah to Utah State. One thing is Utah State, you watch how they played them, and you have to keep your focus, your mental focus. When the Utes had a great game against Alcorn and 100-59, Utah State can't afford to take their foot off the gas here. They have to come out with this energy to win the game.
Boy, we just saw some battling down on the post as Benet and Isaac Johnson, and Johnson ended up on the ground, nothing called. And here we go. Johnson, skip pass. Allen for a 3, and that's short.
The Aggies are moving the ball around the perimeter very well, finding open players. Just having a hard time having those shots go down.
Allen, not a great three-pointer shooter last year, Gary. Only 23% at UVU. But I'm sure he'd like to get that number up. Working in the post, and another block. And you got Gattaretzi at 7'1" and Isaac Johnson at 7 feet. That's some pretty good post defense available to you. And at the other end, Gattaretzi scores.
One thing I like about how Alcorn's playing right now is they're very physical. They're giving the Aggies all they can handle on the boards. They're coming in with offensive rebounds. They're pushing them out on the defensive end. This is a great game for the Aggies to get prepped for the season.
First of 2 games this week, both of which you'll see on the Mountain West Network and on KMYU locally on Saturday. Charlotte comes in. And how about this group of substitutions waiting to get in, Gary? Coach Calhoun sending in, this is like a hockey game. He's sending in 4 guys that are all waiting after the free throw.
Yeah, it's time. At the beginning of the season, the coach is trying to figure out what's his rotation. And so he's going to sub probably a little bit more sporadic. Then as the season goes on, you're going to have a tight 7 or 8 guys that are going to come in at the same times in the same game, so everyone knows what the expectations are.
Yeah, so a big group comes in here. Among them, Tucker Anderson. He's a transfer from Central Arkansas. We know Carson Templin. And you'll be able to see him easily because he's wearing the gold. Are those Kobe's?
I think they're the 7s.
Gold Kobe, yeah.
I used to love to play in Kobe's back in the day when I could actually move up and down the court.
When you had hang time.
Yeah, I don't know if that was ever the case. But.
So number 13, Dayton Albury, transfer from Queens University. He's out of Kansas. And a nice pass inside, and the gold shoot, Carson Templin, gets up and finishes.
Makes it easy to see with
the
gold
absolutely.
Shoes. Everyone knows where he is on the court.
And then the other one, Dexter Acano, number 7, also in. He's been at a couple different universities, Marquette for a year, and then Oregon State more recently for 3 years. So a lot of transfers as the three-pointer is up and in for Daniel Braister.
The one thing that's great about the Spectrum and hard about the Spectrum, it's a great shooter's gym. Everywhere, it's one of the places that I played in the world where I felt like the hoop was huge and you can just keep shooting. So that's not great when Aggies are playing great shooting teams that are hitting the shots. Man,
good point. And they are a scrappy bunch, but active hands from Acano to get in the way of that one and slow down the break. And here we go. And the Braves up and in, and that shot does not go as Carson Templin on the defense. Templin, the sophomore out of Fairview, Texas. Got a little bit of time last year. We'll take a break early on here. Opening night, Aggies down 2. Back here in Logan, opening night for the Aggies. Jared Calhoun in his first season. Danny Sprinkle is off to Washington, which means he gets to compete in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
See how that works out.
Yeah. He also took Great Osibor with him.
Yeah,
so
how about that?
That's kind of his safety net, it seems. He takes him from Montana State to Utah State. Yeah.
And his NIL just keeps going up.
Yeah. Hey, can't blame him.
Nope. So we're 5 minutes into the game, and we've already had 5 lead changes. This thing's just gone back and forth as the Alcorn State Braves visiting Logan 2 days after they played in Salt Lake City against the Utes. If you're from Alcorn State, you're traveling, why not double up? Probably could have worked in a Weber State or BYU game if they really wanted to stay for a while. Steal, and that's a strip by Dexter Acano, and at the other end, Albury will set things up.
I like his poise on that. He comes down, he could have forced something on the break, but realized that there wasn't anything there to back it out to create a better shot and a better offense for his teammates.
Martinez gets it off to the corner and just in and out. We're going to have a foul, though. We're staying right here as Tucker Anderson's three-point attempt will not go.
And that looked a lot like what you're talking about with Isaac Johnson battling, getting knocked down to the
same
floor.
Thing. Only this time they called it.
Yeah. That's one thing you can know about Carson Templin is he is going to be a physical player for you out there. He's going to give you some toughness and some grit that's much needed.
Well, and he's got the size for that to really bang. 6'8", 217-pound sophomore. And here we go. Anderson, another big kid. Tucker, number 2, 6'9", 190-pound sophomore. As that three goes up and in.
Yeah, and he's not shy about shooting it. He's come off the bench and just threw up 2.
Well,
that's great.
He's got some family history. His mom, Sheila, played at Tennessee for Pat Summitt.
Okay.
In fact, she was on the first 2 teams that Summitt won, championship teams that Summitt won at Tennessee back in 1987 and 1989. So he was definitely raised around basketball.
Yeah.
And he's showing that already. Oh, and a collision at near midcourt as Ian Martinez hustles for that ball, and it will be the Aggies basketball leading by a point.
Yeah, the Aggies are showing that they're willing to put themselves on line, get on the floor, a lot like last year where they had that type of tenacity. So that's good to see this early in the season.
Well, every coach brings in his own. You were already talking about, their defense being different from what they had last year, but you would hope that the general idea and the culture would kind of remain the same, and we'll see how that goes because the Aggies had a great season last year.
Absolutely.
Really did.
Yeah, I don't think there's a person here that isn't going to want that to continue.
Anderson's 3, that one does not go.
One thing the Aggies are showing early is that they're like to lend him off a lot of screens, find open shots from his teammates are looking for him. So looks like they have a lot of confidence in him.
Well, he's a near 40% three-point shooter at Central Arkansas, so obviously they're going to try to exploit that. And a turnover as Tankersley just, I don't know, he must not have even noticed, but he was behind midcourt when that pass was thrown to him.
Yeah, the mental errors early in the season are, I remember we used to take our first couple games and break those down pretty well. And when I was here at Utah State with Coach Morrill, these are learning games for sure.
Oh, absolutely. How about that rebound up and in? And Gadaretsi, young man out of Belgium, scores again.
And I like how physical this game is. I like the refs are letting them play a little bit.
There's a foul on Drake Allen as you're getting a good look at how that zone works for Jared Calhoun, how he designs it.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because generally in a zone you kind of have your areas that you guard and you don't go out those areas. But I've watched Carson Templin come out off the post to guard ball screens. Those are generally things you don't see in a zone. So it's interesting to see how Calhoun's putting this all together.
Into the lane and up and in, shot does not go. And here come the Aggies. And right to the rack, a little reverse, Dayton Albury. And Utah State now on a 7-0 run.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of leadership out there and a lot of poise. That's something that the Aggies are really going to need this year.
And again, another missed shot. And now we got a foul, the old foul on the rebound.
The Aggies are starting to pick up some momentum. They're starting to make Alcorn miss some shots, and they're coming with the offensive rebound. That's what's accounting for the 7-point swing since the last time out.
So 15-10 our score now, and 6 different Aggies have already scored. So if the goal early is try to get a look at a lot of people, it's working. And how about Drake Allen?
Yeah, they're playing very well as a team right now. They're sharing the basketball. They're making smart plays. They're not forcing things. The Aggies are looking really good for one game in, or 20 minutes, or however long, 10 minutes into the first game.
Yeah, we're barely into that, yeah. Well, you want to, Alcorn State, certainly a capable team. 55-62 under Coach Bussey over 5 years. But generally, you're hoping to schedule a situation where you can do a lot of things and experiment with a lot of things and get a lot of players in. And so far, it's working out that way for Jared Calhoun. Got a lot of basketball to play, though, here. 7-point Aggie lead here on KMYU TV locally and the Mountain West Network. Back here in Logan, the Aggies on a 9-0 run, Gary, and Alcorn State has gone scoreless on their last 6 possessions. More than 4 minutes of game time have gone by. So this defense is really doing its job.
Well, the Aggies, at least at this point, seem to have really bought into that defensive scheme. They're flying around. They're talking. That's one thing in a zone that you have to communicate.
Oh, I would think. Yeah.
So I'm watching them talk, and they're communicating to their teammates. They look like they're enjoying it.
So Mason Falslev checks back in. 2019 football and basketball champion at Skyview. He was the 4A MVP in football, too. He was a heck of a football player. I remember we televised a number of his games, and I always thought, man, he's going to be a great tight end somewhere. But I think he chose wisely. I think he would have been successful either way.
Absolutely. He could be like Justin Graham, after he's done playing basketball, he could just go into the NFL as a tight end.
There you go. Isaac Johnson's shot does not go. Turnover. That was punched out by Allen from behind, and then Allen throws the lob. Can't quite get it to go. Oh, man. And quickly, Mike Littlewood, the official, gets in there and separates these guys. They were getting tangled up.
Yeah. It looks like Alcorn is coming in ready to play, ready to be physical, and that's what I love as a coach, to watch my team come out here and be that physical and play with that type of toughness.
You were talking about basketball players turning tight end. Caleb Lohner at the University of Utah played all those years in basketball, and now he's tight end for the Utes.
Yeah, that is true.
So Alcorn State, 4 turnovers on their last 7 possessions, and then what do? They come out and they take the ball away. Right there. Short little shot goes up and does not go for Wyatt Gaines. They have now missed their last 5 shots as Mason throws the lob, and it's tipped in by Aubin Gadarezzi.
See, it's that type of unselfishness. Mason has a clear lane to the basket, sees that his teammate has a better shot, is willing to dump it off to get an easier basket.
11-0 run now for the Aggies, that they've opened up this 19-10 lead, and again, so active. Looks like they're going to get Martinez here, though. Oh, no, it's Aggies' ball.
It was kicked out of bounds.
Yeah.
One thing I love about Ian Martinez's game, he's always so cool and calm. You don't ever see too much fluctuation in his emotion. He kind of just runs even kilter.
Well, this is cool. Jordy Barnes just checked into the game. We were calling his state championship not that long ago. Jordy's father is the coach at Olympus High School where Jordy played, Matt Barnes, and he's a former Aggie alum.
Yes.
Way before your time.
So it's come full circle.
I'm not saying Matt's old, but yeah, it's gone full circle here. But I will say he never met a shot he didn't like.
That's my type of guy right there.
Utah State now 9 straight defensive stops, forcing 5 turnovers. And here comes another one. Now make it 10. And Barnes with the ball.
That's what Alcorn needs to do, is they need to give it to the middle of the zone.
Oh, what a pass. Gadaretsky throws it down.
That's what you got to like to see as an Aggie fan this early, is to see them playing this well as a team, understanding where your teammates are, making good passes. That's exciting to see.
And Johnson really made a nice pass there to spot the open Gadaretsky. Here comes Jordy. Ian Martinez from the corner. And it goes.
Looked like he banked that one in.
16-0 run. Aggies are rolling. Our statistician, Tyson Ewing, can barely keep up because it's going by so fast. He's riding like a madman. Martinez so wide open.
That goes in. It's going to be pretty loud in here.
Ian Martinez.
The Aggies' willingness to share the basketball, take open shots, be confident as a team. To watch Ian spot up and shoot and knock this in, his second 3 right in a row. It's great to see this early in the season.
8 points for Martinez, part of a 19-0 run. And the Aggies leading 27-10. Now here's a new look.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the full court press.
It's good when you put in a containment press like that. You're just trying to speed them up and get them out of their rhythm and force them to take shots that they're not used to taking.
Shot clock down to 5 already.
Shot clock just stopped.
Just stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to stop this because that's weird. It went to 5, then it went back to 6, and then it just stopped.
Yeah, I wonder how you call that one.
Yeah, this is going to be. Well, the officials are going to get together and talk about this. Mike Littlewood, Larry Serrato, and Scott Brown.
Yeah, I remember we had a shot clock issue when we played Utah up here. Utah State. The game was on the line.
Oh, that was at the end of the game.
Yeah, the game was on the line, and the ref didn't click the shot clock, and so the clock didn't start. And I remember Coach Boylan was boiling. He's not happy.
He was not happy at all. I remember, especially being up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ended up winning that
We
game.
did win, but it was close. Utah had a great team there. Yeah. They actually won the Mountain West that year. Sean Green, Luke Neville, a lot of talented players on that team. I ended up actually playing against Luke Neville overseas in Australia.
Yeah, big. He's from Australia.
Yeah.
Well, and Sean Green from Olympus High School, and we were just talking about Jordy Barnes and his dad, Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes coached Sean Green. So everything just starts to tie together.
That's right. The basketball world is very small.
Yeah. There's Martinez again, spotting up for that 3. And the Aggie faithful. Good group on hand.
Yeah, they turned a 17-point lead in 3 minutes.
Yes, in a flash.
Yeah. Well, if they can put points on the board like that, that's going to be a good sign.
Well, they started the game, their first 10, they were 3 for 10. And since going 3 for 10, they're 7 for 10. And so they've definitely turned things around in that respect.
Yeah, and I think the sharing the basketball, they're just finding their teammates in good spots.
I'm really enjoying seeing Jordy Barnes in this game. I didn't have him on our original depth chart. And I just think it's fun to say, you're talking about a freshman, you were talking about the youth, and I think he's going to be a good one.
It's hard to explain how much pressure is on these young kids to come out and perform, especially with a school so rich in basketball history like Utah State. I remember feeling that pressure coming out, and Jared is really responding. He's doing well. He's playing strong. He's tough with the ball. He's tough defensively. He's finding it. Yeah, he's playing well.
Again, I'll tell you what, Gadaretzi's making a living in the post, Gary. And after 13 straight defensive stops, the Aggies come back and score. A 21-0 run.
Well, when you have the length of Gadaretzi and Isaac Johnson out there in a matchup zone where you have a 7-footer defending the perimeter and a 7-footer guarding the basket, that's an intimidating
tough,
that's an intimidating look.
Gave a little pump fake. This was earlier. And then threw it down. And once again, Jared Calhoun, coach, just subbed 4 Aggies. Block shot. They've missed their last 9. And Ian Martinez finishes it off.
He's definitely one of the fan favorites here.
They love him. Such an energy guy, as you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, great pass.
And Templin. Oh, baby.
That's the thing. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether the Aggies are just playing this well or if they can keep this type of energy and play up. This has been really impressive to watch, especially because Alcorn is so physical. And the Aggies have just responded. Alcorn's not backing down.
33-10. And a foul. Willie Lightfoot with the basketball. You know, we had so much fun watching last year's team, and yet here we are just a few minutes into this season, and this team's every bit as fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think that the energy that they bring, the basketball is a team sport, so when you see it played as a team, it's really fun to watch.
And they're sharing. They've assisted on the last 8 made field goals. Almost made it 9. Martinez, he really wanted to throw that one down.
We might have seen a top 10 play.
Yeah,
right there.
The fans would have come I was going to say out of their seats, but they're always out of their seats up here. They never sit down. Martinez, an 86% free throw shooter. Very good free throw shooter. And he's at the line for 2.
Yeah.
34-10. My goodness.
I like how Ian Martinez has stepped up in this game. He knows he's the leader. When he's supposed to be the leader on this team, he's kind of accepted that, and he's stepping up offensively and defensively.
And sharing the ball when he needs to.
Yes.
Hits them both. So, you know that run we keep talking about, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's now up to 27-0.
Well,
that's the run.
The thing is Calhoun is subbing in the middle of his runs. Generally, if you're having a run like that, you leave your team in. He's subbing, and there's no drop-off.
No.
Everyone just keeps responding.
And that's, by the way, that run is like, it's in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quick.
I mean, if you can have a team where you can just sub in 4 guys at a time and keep your team that fresh the whole game, that would be something to watch.
It's just interesting to me, after all the games we did last year, to see this defense. It's completely different.
Yeah.
We're not used to that.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it. Sorry about that. A lot of it stems from just watching Sprinkle's traditional defensive approach to come into this matchup zone.
Make it 18 straight defensive stops. Unbelievable what the Aggies are doing right now. Complete domination. When it was a close game, really. Templin. Oh, the gold shoes. And he's denied this time.
The one thing that I liked about Coach Calhoun, if you watch him, Carson's come down. He's had a couple shots, but I think there could have been fouls on 1 or 2 of them. But Coach Calhoun tells him to settle down, to just play his game. And that's, for a young player, you need that reassurance from your coach.
Anderson, another 3, and he got it again. Tucker Anderson. Boy, 6'9", big man that can hit threes.
Yeah, he's a shooter. You can see he's got a pure touch out there on his release.
As I mentioned, his mom, Sheila, Tennessee basketball player, and obviously raised him well on basketball skills. 30-0 is now the run after Anderson's 3. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I wonder what the school record is for most points scored without an opponent scoring. Yeah, a run.
Huh. That's a good question. We'll have to get the Utah State stat people on it. Just me to see as well. It's completely different from what we saw at Sprinkle last year, what you saw at Stu Morrill back in your day, and yet every bit is effective. They all put their own mark, on their coaching, and interesting. Alcorn State led this game 10-8. That was at the 15:30 mark, and it's now 38-10. My goodness. All right, the officials have got things back in order. And we're set to go.
Oh, no, that's one thing I noticed in this year. There is a lot more offensive firepower on this team. Last year, it seemed there were stretches where if Great Osibor wasn't able to put in the baskets, then you didn't know who your go-to was. But now Ian Martinez is stepping up. Tucker's stepping up. And Mason Falslove, can step up. So there's a lot of people that they're looking like, at least in this first game, early days, that they can go to.
That's a great point about last year. It's like, everything kind of went through Osibor, and then you just got whatever was left over. Tippin has missed another miss, and again the Aggie defense steps up big. And at the other end, Templin with the finish.
He's all over. He gets a steal, advances up court, comes in, gets a rebound and a dunk.
All while wearing gold shoes. There's a couple of them out there. It's Drake Allen also in the gold. Another turnover. Oh, he just barely had his feet out of bounds. So Anderson got his hand on the ball. But
the one thing that's interesting to watch, and you don't see this very often, but it seems like the Aggies are having as much fun playing defense as they are playing offense. They're all over the floor. They're getting touches and deflections. It's fun to watch.
And you're right, that's not always the case.
It definitely wasn't with me, I can say that much.
Yeah, but Stu, if you guys didn't play defense, you heard it from him.
Yeah, if you didn't play defense, you didn't play.
Yeah, you did right.
But it wasn't the funnest thing I like to do playing basketball. Yeah. But these guys have seemed to figure it out.
If you go through the hallway here on the way to the locker room, there's various photos of all the great players over the years, and yours, and by the way, they're life size. Yours is a dunk.
Yeah. It was. Well, I didn't have very many, so they thought they'd do me a favor.
Oh, it was a good one. Yeah. So another defensive stop, and the crowd letting the Braves hear about it with the air ball. So the Aggies on a tear right now, leading by 30. Yeah. Almost 12 minutes since the last score for Alcorn State. That's what the Aggies have done to them. 20 straight defensive stops on the way, and a 32-0 run. I mean, that's something else.
Well, it shows. I mean, you can see it on the defensive end. They're flying around. I mean, I think they're as excited about stops as they are buckets. That's a good thing to have this early.
And they're playing a lot of people, too.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah. Trying to stay in a rhythm and get in a good flow.
Oh, wow. Down they go, no call, and they're right back up. Anderson. And again, body's just all over. And that's going to go against the Aggies. Akano.
That's the risk you take when you let games get this physical. Both teams, you're competitive, you're out there, you're fighting. It just kind of happens. But if you're not careful, the game can get away from you.
Well, you commented on how the Braves are a physical group, and it's looking like football out there the last couple of possessions.
Yeah. Despite the score, nothing is coming easy from the Aggies. If you watch, if they're having to fight through screens. They're getting hit on screens, on box out. Alcorn's hitting them on the box outs. So it's not like this has been easy for them, even though the score evidence is a different story.
Yeah, on that one, Dexter Akano kind of falling backwards. And he ends up being charged with the fouls. Antonio Lisenby was on the business end of that.
But I also think they assessed Bussey with the technical, did they?
Yeah, well, and they're looking now. I'm not sure exactly what the officials are looking at, but Landon Bussey, head coach for the Braves in his 5th season.
Yeah, and he's taken them to some 20-win seasons. He's had some great success. Right. Yeah, Coach of the Year.
First time they've ever played the Aggies. But Alcorn State's one of those where you just occasionally, they popped into the NCAA tournament, over the years.
Yeah. Well, they made it the NIT the last 2 years.
Yeah. Out of the SWAC. These Aggie fans, you lived through this. They are great in this building.
They are.
One of the best student sections around.
That's what makes it so good that Cache Valley's so cold in the winter, because there's nothing else to do besides come watch basketball.
Well, it's November 6th, and it was cold today.
Yeah, it was cold.
It's still.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah.
We enjoyed too much warm weather up until this point. Now the switch has flipped.
All right, so they think they've got this worked out, and we're about to get an explanation. So I'm going to listen to Larry really quick here.
So the review was to see if it was a hook and hold on white 7. Okay. It was not. It was them falling to the ground, albeit looks rather severe. There's nothing malicious. There was nothing flagrant in it. There was no technical. The technical foul was on the head coach.
Okay, that's
different play.
Okay, got it. All right, so the review was to check that original foul. They wanted to see if it was a hook and hold, and they said it was not. It was just two players falling down. The free throws were for the technical foul that was issued to Landon Bussey. So there you go, and thank you, Larry Serrato, for coming over and explaining that to us. And we play on. Oh, and the drought almost ended, Gary.
Yeah.
But he stepped out of bounds.
The shot goes in.
Oh, that poor kid. He finally get his shot to go in. So we understand that this is the longest run the Aggies have gone on since a 37-0 run against Idaho in 2006. On February 15, 2006. So 34-0 was the current run right now that's going on, and the record that they believe, anyway, is 37-0. So we'll see how long this keeps going, and there's a turnover. And the 2006 team may be okay if that goes in, and it does. So the run ends. That's their first points for Alcorn State since the 15:36 mark. And we're at 2:50 to play here in the half. Wow, that's 12 and a half minutes.
That's an impressive stat. To keep a Division I team scoreless.
Absolutely.
For that amount of time is very impressive.
And impressive for Doug Hoffman and his staff to dig that up for us.
Yeah, that was an amazing rebound.
Yeah. Foul under the basket. You saw the missed shot from Akano. Let's check the foul here.
Yeah, they are battling underneath. Nothing is coming easy. As the shot goes up, you can see players are just boxing out, putting people on their back, and it's just physical down there. That's how basketball works. There's nothing malicious about it, just playing hard.
That was Isaac Davis, by the way, who's in the game now, number 23. He's at the free throw line, 6'8", freshman out of Idaho Falls. He's a bruiser. He might be kind of like I don't want to make this comparison because it's not fair because he's so young, but the great Osobor of this year's team, at least physically. Oh, how about the spin move and the near finish? And the ball is still loose, and the Aggies finally come away with it. Three-pointer. Barron Housley out of Lehigh, Utah. Or excuse me, Braden.
Well, they just scrappy all over the court. They had chance after chance after chance, and they came up with the loose balls.
Well, they're starting a new run now, but I don't know if they're going to top the last one.
Yeah, that might be years before we top that one.
Well, it was.
Right.
2006. 18 years since they had a run like that.
Yeah, that's...
And just, 3 points away from tying the record. You don't want to be on the other end of that particular mark. So credit the Braves for finally stopping the bleeding on that one. And free throws for Akano, 70% free throw shooter. Young man who played at Oregon State the last 3 years, graduate senior.
Yeah, and I think Calhoun was smart to bring in some of these. I mean, obviously Ian was already here, but bringing in some of these graduate players to help kind of steady things for all these younger players and understand what the expectations are.
(47-12). 35-point lead for the Aggies. Minute and a half to play here in the first half up in Logan. Beautiful but chilly night as the season just getting underway. The first of our 11-game Utah State schedule we're excited to bring you. We've got 4 games just in the next 2 weeks. We'll be back here Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Three-pointer is a little long, and here come the Aggies. Mason Falslev is, he's been sharing. He's been playing defense, doing a lot of things as that three goes up and in, but he hasn't scored yet.
No, and that's the thing about Mason's game is he doesn't force things. He kind of just finds his role within it, and he's a player. As he develops and as he grows, he's going to become more of a go-to dominant player. But right now, he's playing at exactly the type of basketball you'd hope from a sophomore player.
So it's somewhat of a run now, Gary. It's 42-2.
Yeah,
I'd call that a little bit of a run.
Yeah, I don't.
But I would love to have seen that shutout run.
I know that
break the record.
I'd never seen a run like that.
Yeah, apologies to Alcorn State, but that was a lot of fun to watch that. Jordy Barnes will check back into the game. Good to see some of these local kids, Housley, Barnes, and of course Mason Falslev. Obviously Isaac Johnson, who played at American Fork High School down in Utah County. He's an Oregon transfer. Oh, there's an N1. These fans, Gary, I love these fans. And again, apologies to the opponent, but they don't miss a beat.
No.
They're behind us chanting Alcorn State.
I feel like Utah State only has investigative journalists for fans.
For fans, yeah, they do. They're well versed on whoever's coming in here.
Yep.
It's a guy down holding a sign up right now that says, "Where's Alcorn?"
They have some clever signs here.
They get very clever, no doubt. But you know what? Alcorn State has had a little bit of success over the years, as you were just talking about. And Landon Bussey's done a nice job with this group, and they do play hard.
Yeah, I mean, they have come out and they haven't backed down from anything that Utah State's offered.
So closing seconds of the half, Jordy Barnes will hang on to the basketball to finish things off. Young man out of Olympus High School, a state champion. And Falslev, clear path to the basket. He's got his first points of the game. And that is just about going to wrap things up. And that shot nearly went in. But the Aggies get to the half with a couple of huge runs. First spot. I mean, they had great scoring last year. It was a great team, but it tended to be Osobor and everyone else.
Right.
Oh, behind the back pass and the three. But the offensive rebound, and Mason Falslev finishes it off. That was a sweet-looking pass, though.
Yeah. Well, it's those tight end hands. You know, he could just reach out there and grab that basketball.
Falslev from nearby Benson, Utah. Played at Skyview High School, a state champion in both basketball and football. And here we go with another run. And Falslev throws the lob. Drake Allen.
It's their ability to look up the floor, see players, advance the ball, share the basketball, make the right decision, make the right passes.
Allen, the Southern Utah, and then UVU transfer, graduate student. And for a group of kids that are together they had the one exhibition game. They sure look like they're comfortable with each other.
Right, they're playing as a team. And I think that defense probably helps teach them that too, because you have to talk if you want to be successful in something like that.
Isaac Johnson, he's got a three. And another run to start things out here in the second half. Not sure they'll match their 34-0 run, which was nearly record-setting. Oh, great defense. You saw Isaac Johnson literally force Peugeot out of the paint. And the Aggies have the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Alcorn's doing the right thing, sharing the basketball, moving it. But the Aggies got that length that it just makes it hard to.
Oh, Johnson blocked from behind, but right to the hands of Falslev. And Mason turns and puts it up and in.
And that's the thing, is Mason can turn it on when he wants to. He's kind of a player that fills the game out. Now he understands where he can get his shots in the game, and he'll do it.
9-0 run to start this second half. And drawing the foul. Shot will not go. But Marcus Tankersley, take a look.
And the thing that Gattaretzi needs to do if he's closing out on the corner is take away the baseline.
Yeah, and Tankersley made him pay on that one. And free throw up and in. Hits them both. Alcorn State coming off a 100-59 loss at the University of Utah 2 nights ago. And then just stayed here in Utah to get ready for this game against the Aggies, booking a little double dip trip. Gattaretzi gets him up in the air and finishes.
Yeah, the Aggies are just executing so well, getting the ball to the high post, looking for the front on the defensive end, and throwing it over the top for an easy lay-in.
Gattaretzi transfers from Stetson, and his team there last year, Stetson, made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. And he was part of that. Oh, man, three-pointer goes. It's up and in. And Davion Williams was fouled.
Yeah, the refs calling it a little bit tighter in the second half than the first.
Wow, I'm not sure I saw a lot there.
Yeah.
Oh, so did they not give him the basket?
Yeah, I don't understand what the call was.
Oh, okay. Well, this time the three is uncontested, and it's up and in. That was an interesting sequence. So 63-22, and Jared Calhoun preparing for his four-man substitution, but not before Gattaretzi throws another one down. Kick ball.
So the Aggies are continuing to put the pressure on Alcorn during this second half. With their defense flying around, being able to keep them off the glass, no second chance points, and then converting on the offensive end.
So that last situation, they scored 6 points on that possession. Remember, because they had the foul, then they got the ball back. 6 points on that possession. They had 14 points the entire first half. So that was pretty productive for the Braves. You don't see that very often. Drive. Akano.
Akano's really come alive in the second half. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He's being aggressive. He's made some big shots. And on this one, being able to cut through the lane and finish with the left hand through contact, that's a good basketball play.
3 years at Oregon State, finishing up his graduate year here at Utah State, and cannot complete the three-point play. Ball out of bounds, though, to the Aggies. Our next broadcast will come your way on Saturday, 2 o'clock, as the Aggies will take on Charlotte. That game you'll see locally here on KMYU and on the Mountain West Network. And the Aggie football team plays later that night at Washington State, 8:30 game time. They were waiting to see what time that football game was going to be before they set this week's game, and there you go. We got another pretty big game in the state that day. I'm not quite sure who's playing in that one, but oh man, just got him on the side of the head. But you saw Jalik Wyatt Gaines, and he's got it.
Yeah, in games like this, when you come out and have leads like this, and maybe if the game finishes with such a big win, you don't know how to take that because you don't want to get an overinflated sense of how well you're playing.
Well, that's a good point. But on the other hand, you never look down on a win.
No,
you just hope it carries over.
That is true.
But you are correct. My guess is that your experience, maybe even when you were playing for Stu Morrill, is that if you did come up with a big win, that as Anderson throws up that three, does not go, that he figured out a way to keep you grounded. A lot of coaches are harder on you after big wins than they are tough losses.
Yeah. Coach knew exactly how to run a season of basketball, and so if you had big wins, you kind of just kept your mind right, kept you grounded in the things that he knew were important to keep you on the right path to success.
Yeah, because that's one of the tougher things to guard against, no doubt about that. But we still have 15 minutes to go in this game. A lot of basketball still to play, and I can tell you this much, the Braves are still fighting. I mean, there's a perfect example right there is Jahi Benet just basically threw the defender off of him. And here they come again. That Jared Calhoun zone is what you're looking at.
Right.
And Templin gets up in the air, and that's an N1.
Yeah, that's what you got to stay grounded as a big man. You never want to go for fakes or jump. Carson's a big guy. He could have changed that shot to stay on the ground, but that's discipline. That comes with time.
6'8", 217-pound sophomore out of Fairview, Texas. Definitely a role player last year in all those games we did. He got a lot of good minutes here and there, depending on what the situation is. And here we go. Jordy Barnes in now at the guard position. Great pass and a finish for Anderson.
I'm really impressed with their passing. I mean,
and
for a freshman to come in right off the bench and just find a dime like that, these Aggies have been really fun to watch tonight.
Well, you're watching two players on that last play that both are children of former basketball players, and in Jordy's case, his dad's still coaching and doing a great job.
Well, and the Aggies have caused turnovers just because of how they're flying around on the defensive end. You can hear Barnes with the no-look here to Tucker with the nice finish.
That was fantastic. (69-26), and Jordy Barnes brings the ball up court. And another three. Oh, they're going to call an offensive foul and take this away. Jared Calhoun does not like this at all.
Yeah. Templin's a guy, though, that can get your players open if you want them. That seemed like a pretty solid screen there.
He can, that's for sure. If you run into his screen, you're gonna know it.
You'll feel it the next morning.
So Utah State, Gary, only had 2 turnovers in the entire first half. They already have 3 in the second half. So gotten a little sloppy here, and now they get one the other way. Ball tipped away by Akano. And
see
now
that?
They'll reset with Jordy. Akano, 3.
Well, their patience and poise on the offensive end, not trying to force things on a fast break where you can see that you don't have numbers, backing it out, passing it around, finding, and that's a good shot, good wide open shot. Players are in position to rebound.
Well, it looked like it was right on line going up.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing you and I talked about last year, too, early in the season with Utah State. Some of the times they would take shots out of the offense and their players were out of position. And to watch them this year, obviously you have a lot more players returning and people understanding what the expectation is, but they're taking good shots and people are in position to rebound.
They had to take that one, but that won't go for Isaac Johnson. Isaac's sister Gracie is on the Utah State women's basketball team, and of course his brother plays at BYU. So I tell you this much, his parents are busy. At least you have two kids at one school. That makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, they're not traveling all over the Wasatch Front.
Three-pointer up, and that won't go. And here comes the Aggies. Barnes has it. And Barnes, another dime, Gary.
Yeah. He likes that no-look pass.
Oh, man. He just looked over at Isaac and just kind of shrugged like, well, that's what I do.
Yeah, letting the play develops, keeping your eyes down the court.
Aggies are now over 70. And a corner three. And they'll reset. Offensive board for the Braves. Boy, shot clock down to 3. They have to just launch one, and that doesn't go. So another good defensive stand for the Aggies. Here comes Barnes. And
that was a good look. That's the right look.
But and then at the other end, the finish. And Daniel Brasser takes it all the way down and throws it down for the Braves. It's a little bit of a run here. And when I say a little bit, nothing like what we saw in the first half.
I don't know if there's ever going to be anything like that again.
Well, it took 18 years for that run to match the last one. Econo 3. Aggies have really gone cold, but a big offensive rebound before it's blocked away.
Johnson needs to come down and go up strong with the ball. He's got it twice on an offensive rebound where he's come up and he's gone out kind of soft to get blocked. He's a big guy. He can go up strong and take that foul.
Yeah, 7-footer. Little shorty in the lane, and now both teams are. Oh, Jordy puts a move on, and then he turns it over. I can just hear his dad now. Oh, man, the move looked good. Keep your eyes up.
Coach Calhoun's doing the right thing, telling him to stop, but Aubrey
no call there. Wow. So Gateretzi there to finish it off, but you talked about this at the beginning of the game, how physical this was going to be, and you were not kidding.
Yeah, and Alcorn is just coming out when they're playing so physical and giving Utah State all they can handle. That's such a great thing for this young team to have to experience this early in the season.
We are back, and one of the newcomers, Alvin Gateretzi, has not missed a shot tonight, Gary. He's got 16 points on 8 for 8 shooting.
That's a great night. It's a great night of basketball.
But as you pointed out, he's doing a lot of what you did back in your day here, which is dunking the ball.
Right. Well, Coach Morrill just found a way to get me layups. He just had offenses that got guys in great position. Gateretzi's just way more athletic than I ever was. He can just catch it and dunk it.
You always say that, but I remember you constantly dunking back in the day.
I had a few. I had a good run or two.
But you had some three-point shooting teammates, too.
Yeah, there was a guy named J.C. Carroll that could shoot a bit.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Backdoor cut is stolen. Gateretzi is everywhere. And here comes Barnes. And Barnes, that shot is blocked. And again, no call. It's so physical. But I guess if you know what to expect.
Right.
Lob. Gateretzi again. Still perfect on the night, and another turnover for the Aggies. That last timeout certainly paid off. Econo. tipped up and in. Gateretzi. Oh,
10
man.
for 10 tonight, huh?
Yep. Has not missed a shot, and they've all been right around the rim, but
The one thing the
what a
Aggies
night.
The one thing the Aggies are doing so well tonight that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is deflections. Their ability to get the hand on the basketball, disrupt passing lanes, disrupt offensive flow. This defense is really working for that.
Block shot. Was that Gateretzi?
That was
again?
Gateretzi.
He now has 20 points, Gary, which is his 5th career 20-point game, going back to his days at Stetson. And three-pointer.
Hopefully,
man.
feels like that should be his game every night for the Aggies.
Well, he's certainly been opportunistic tonight. Been in the right place. Young man out of Namur, Belgium. Big kid. Well, you saw Davion Williams turn around and Gateretzi right there, but then he just backs off and shoots it up and over him. 8.5 to play and a pretty comfortable 40-point lead. 47, excuse me. Gateretzi again, his first miss of the night, but it was blocked.
Yep.
Or of the foul, excuse me.
Well, the Aggies are doing a great job at finding their bigs, flashing their guards to the high post. Their bigs are sealing down low, giving a good target, and the Aggies are finding them for easy layups and dunks.
Pretty comfortable Aggie lead right now as we approach the 8-minute mark in this game. Aggie basketball on KMYU locally, and we're just talking about Aubin Gateretzi and getting that second 20-point game. This is also his second career game of 10-plus made field goals.
Well,
So
and they've been nice field goals too. He's been able to catch the ball and put it away.
So free throws coming. And Gateretzi looking to add to his total in this game.
That's a good touch. When you see the ball touch the rim that many times, you generally don't see bigs with that nice a touch.
(79-30). Gateretzi has scored the last 8 points for Utah State. Corner three. Oh, that was just drilled. I mean, Keon Cornelius, the old frozen rope, as the late Hot Rod Huntley would have said.
That's right. I remember Hot Rod saying that.
Jackson State transfer. Senior for Landon Bussey's Alcorn State team. And a corner three the other way. And once again, Isaac Johnson hits.
It's amazing to see how many players touch the basketball on the Utah State side.
And then you end up with that.
Yeah.
And you got 2 7-footers on this team that can hit threes. Well, Tucker Anderson's actually about 6'10", but close to it.
Right. Close enough.
My football broadcast partner, Lemon Harrington, says, I always round up. I'm rounding him up to 7 feet.
I like that.
Oh, how about that? Little physical play, tipped up and in by Benet. Another lob.
See, and that's the thing is Mason's looking for his teammates. He's creating shots he could take for himself. He's finding the open shot. The poise and the leadership in plays like that, something impressive from a sophomore.
Second most points in his career. His career high is 26 for Gateretzi. And how about the game Mason's having? Not a bunch of scoring, Gary, but he's just enabling a lot of things for others to get done as Cornelius hits the little short shot. I just traded a couple texts with my buddy Matt Barnes, Jordy's father, who coaches at Olympus, and I asked him, now, you played 89 to 91. Did you ever pass up a three? And he replied, never. And then his next word was automatic, just like Isaac.
That's what every scorer says,
Yeah.
right? Feed the machine.
And
Wow.
another three there. Oh,
That's-
Jordy, or excuse me, fall slip. And, he got blocked from behind and didn't have enough oomph on it to finish off that dunk.
Yeah. It's hard when you got a player tugging on your backside when you go up for the dunk.
Exactly.
But here going in for this dunk, goes up strong.
Oh.
Hey, that's the one thing about Alcorn is they're not giving up easy shots, right? Like they're still playing. They're down by 50, but they're still playing. They're not just giving up dunks. That says something. As a coach, you want to see your players keep playing in times like this.
Well, they're just coming off that 41-point loss at Utah. So you might think, they're a little bit down, they're fighting.
Yeah, they are.
They do play hard. Coach Bussey does a nice job with this group. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and I think these, early losses like this sometimes benefit you down the stretch because they challenge you, they show you where your weaknesses are, and you can continually work through that until you hit conference play. So these minor setbacks early on are just that. You can keep the right attitude.
We saw Isaac Johnson hit that 34% three-point shooter a year ago. And you've got Tucker Anderson, a 38% three-point shooter a year ago. So Coach Calhoun's got some big guys that can hit the long ball.
Yeah, and that's how the game's progressing, right? You very rarely, you don't have guys like Shaq anymore. You have bigs that can spread the floor. They're more fundamentally sound and be able to do a lot of different things. That's where the game's progressed to.
As a team, the Aggies have 9 three-pointers in this game. And Isaac is the leader. He's got 3 of them. And he's gone over double figures himself.
Yeah, he is never shy about shooting a three. When he's open, he'll let it fly. And that's
what they want to do,
Yeah,
though,
that's
right?
exactly what you do. I mean, and you got to have the confidence to shoot like that.
Tucker Anderson's got a couple of threes, and Martinez a couple of threes. So Anderson and Johnson, their 2 biggest guys, have combined for 5 three-pointers in this game. Also dominating on the boards, you would expect with a score like this and that run they went on to do a lot of rebounding. 48-23 for Utah State, more than double the rebounds of the Braves. And free throws coming for Drake Allen. In that charity game against Weber State, Allen had 12 points, 6 assists. So he was distributing the ball on that one as well.
Yeah, each one of these guys has been really impressive in terms of the toughness that they played with tonight and their willingness to share the basketball, play as a team. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Well, I'm looking forward to this upcoming schedule we have of 10 more games of this team. They look good.
Yeah.
And this defense is really tenacious. Tenacious D. Isn't that a rock group? Jack Black, I think.
Yeah.
Three-pointer on the way, and it's up and in for Keon Cornelius. There's just no quit in this Alcorn State Braves team. Offensive ball. Oh, Jordy, shoot that. And there he goes. Just a little. He's probably a little nervous. It's his first game.
But he hasn't shown it much out here. He's made some tremendous plays, really played tough. That's done some great things. I mean, watch how physical Alcorn still is playing. I mean, you're pushing people off screens. They're still playing very physical basketball.
Got another borderline record-setting performance. And, boy, you're all right. They are playing physical. But Gattaretzi, so he's 11 for 11 right now, which is already second all-time for the most field goals without a miss for the Aggies. The record, 12 for 12. I'm not even sure if you remember Mike Santos played in 1978.
I don't remember Mr. Santos, no.
12 for 12.
He was before I was even alive, so that might have been tough.
Okay, now that's That's unbelievable. That was right after I graduated high school.
Okay. So we just have a few years separating.
Yeah, that's
right.
I was really young when I graduated.
You graduated at 5, right?
Well, full court press by the Braves. 4.5 to play, and it's been all Aggies tonight after about the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. They started that run at about the 5-minute or 15-minute mark of the game and have never looked back.
It was 10-8 when Alcorn led, and then from there,
that's it. Anderson turns and scores again.
He's got a very nice touch.
Anderson, the sophomore, transfer from Central Arkansas. Well, there's bodies all over. Now Anderson just knocked out, and he's pleading for the officials. Where's the offensive foul? And he got it. So Anderson draws the offensive foul, and Aggies get the ball back. Officials explaining to, I believe that was on Lisenby, the foul, explained to him exactly what he did. Didn't particularly like it or agree, but that's the case. 91-41, under 4 to play. Opening night for the Aggies that are looking awfully good at home. Other players that have come in, Braden Housley, he actually was in a little bit in the first half. He's out of Skyridge. And then number 3 is Jackson Smith out of Woods Cross High School. A lot of local kids.
Well, that's how Utah State had traditionally been. They just bring in all the local kids, and they'd come, and Ty Wesley's, Tyler Newbold's, J.C. Carroll's kind of local, Spencer Nelson's kind of local, Nate Harris is a local kid. That's kind of a lot of the guys that they picked up were the local kids.
Right. So Tyson Ewing, best stat man in the country as far as I'm concerned. He does all of our high school football games, does the Jazz. He's with us tonight. Has let me know that Gadaretsky now becomes the first Aggie to score 20-plus points on 100% shooting. Ready for this one? Since Tanale Rowland went 7 for 7 with 20 points on January 4th, 2014. That was just 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember Tanale.
Yeah. But there you go. Little dance into the record books. Now the question is, will the Aggies break 100? I would think with over 2 minutes to play. Hopefully I didn't just jinx them. The last 100-point game was a game you and I did a year ago. They beat San Diego 108-81.
I remember that.
Oh, yikes. And we're actually going to have San Diego again this year here later on in December. So yeah, that was a heck of a game. Three-pointer.
Well, that's the thing is the Aggies, that was one of those games where it started off a little slow, but as the game went on, the momentum carried Aggies through San Diego with a big win.
He stepped out of bounds. Some more records coming at you. You know, this is when you, again, apologies to Alcorn State for struggling in this game, but the last 50-point wins, if this holds at 50 in 2023, just a year ago, they beat South Dakota Mines 101-48. Then they beat Eastern Oregon 129-61. That was back in 2019. And this one kind of surprises me. They actually beat Weber State by more than 50 as that shot won't go. That was in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, because they were losing at halftime, went into halftime,
and just shut them. Yeah. That score was 89-34, and they trailed at halftime in that game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a for this Aggie team. To the Braves, they have fought every single. Oh, Jordy Barnes just stole that ball away, and Barnes kicks out wide open three. Got it.
That's what sports is so fun. You get these players coming off the bench. They give it all in practice. They get their opportunities. You share the basketball. Hits a three to put them over 100. That's what makes college sports so fun.
And these fans, they're classmates of Braden Housley, and they know him.
Yep. He'll talk about it tomorrow in class.
Yep. Young man out of Skyridge High School hits three and another turnover. 20 seconds left to play. And another bucket for Alcorn State, but that's just about going to wrap things up here. There's no ice cream this year, by the way, for going over.
Probably because they
gave away so much.
That's right. They put the company out of business.
Well, there you go. And congratulations to the Aggies on getting a big win, 101-46. I mean, if you're local, you want to compare it to your rivals, and the rivals, Utah, won 100-59. So the Aggies will flex their muscles and say, yeah, but we had one more point.
That's right.
And held the opponent to even less. So fewest points allowed by the Aggies since just 46 to Air Force 2 years ago. But